Yeah, this is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Let's go!
Time to catch up with Stevie Butler. Writes all the fantastic articles for the West Australian. Come in, Stephen.
A very good morning, dudes. Isn't Nat becoming sort of like the social media influencer from a holiday?
Well, she took a helicopter ride to get to the Broome races herself. How next level is that, Steve?
Was Peter Hudson with her at all?
Peter Hudson. Oh, the Hawthorn champion, ex-Hawthorn champion.
Yes, he was very famous for flying in on a helicopter to a game once.
Well,
Should look up that in your footy history, Shaun.
wasn't I was always thinking of Brian Peake. Didn't he do that to Geelong, down at Geelong?
I think yes, that's correct too, but it wasn't quite as notorious as Peter Hudson's effort. But anyway, I'll leave that to you.
Well, we do know we have
beautifully.
We have a confirmed rumor that she did actually have a threesome with Elbow and his girlfriend. So it's probably a bit more interesting than your little helicopter thing.
well, unless it was in the helicopter.
Stevie, you been to the Broome Cup before I get stuck into the football?
Yeah, certainly have. It's an epic occasion. There's just frivolity everywhere. It's a really good atmosphere with pretty loose, and I use that in the positive term.
Yep.
The pretty loose atmosphere. That's the way it goes, and just such a beautiful backdrop too, with Gantium Point over the back of the track, and yeah, it's a pretty special occasion actually.
Well, I look forward to seeing what she has to say tomorrow. But the football on the weekend was outstanding, actually. Katie was just saying to me, how bad were Essendon on the weekend? And I just want to start with that. Your team were horrendous yesterday.
No, what's wrong with tanking?
Yeah.
Planking. It used to be all the rage, planking.
Tanking.
Sorry, you did say planking then, didn't you? No, we let Adelaide go past us on the weekend, so we get a better draft pick than them at the end of the year. We're not going to play finals, so what does it matter?
This is a bit exciting. Is this the area of football where there's more tanks than in MASH?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Well, Hawthorn on the weekend, as they say, Hawthorn played Richmond on the weekend. They played their best defender in the midfield. So that means Richmond's best attacker, if you like, Tom Lynch, he kicked 8 goals and then went on to win by, 60 points. And you think, they did that for a reason.
Very Hawkeye by you, Shaun.
Yeah, well played there, Stephen.
Hey, Hot Lips.
Hot Lips Houlihan.
Hot Lips
It's not the first time you've called me that, Nathan.
I know, mate, every weekend.
Steve, the Derby on the weekend, what did you make of it?
Well, I'm still trying to find the mean-spirited judges who couldn't find their way to giving David Mundy at least one vote in the Glendale and Allen medal.
God,
Who were they?
I felt like...
Were you one of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like David was there.
You were one of them. Why? What's your problem?
Well,
How could you not give David Mundy a vote?
Not even like...
Superb.
He was very good, yeah. I just thought Caleb Serong early in the game with the wrestling and just being a part of it all was quite damaging. But, David Mundy was great.
I did note that David Mundy and Caleb Serong both had 8 clearances. 25 possessions. And David Mundy had 8 clearances and Caleb Serong had 5. It's
a really good point, Steve, yeah. In hindsight,
David Mundy, absolute machine, deserved at least a vote in that game. And I tell you what just let them, a bit of frivolity there, but I think he could easily have been in the votes. But what a special occasion for him. I mean, to watch him and his family at the end of the game, Sally and the kids, and do their lap of honour, and just the absolute passion from the Fremantle crowd towards a bloke who's played for 19 years, very consistently, more than most, and to get that sort of send-off at his last ever derby, and it was his 31st Western Derby, so he's played virtually like a season and a half of Western Derbies alone.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
I do love the footage that was captured of David and his kids and his wife on the on Optus when everyone had gone, and it was just them on the oval having a kick. That's a pretty great way to wrap up your career. And
I was still there because the wife wanted to finish the last goblet of wine, so we were still there, and it was a good hour after the game, Nathan, and there were so many of family and friends that were joining him, and I was filming it, and I was filming it, and I thought, I better not chuck this out just in case he didn't want that to be a part of it, but it was just so wholesome, probably.
That's really lovely, yeah. What a
Fremantle has some cult heroes, haven't they? There's been Sean McManus and Clive Waterhouse and Andrew Wills and a few, but has there ever been a more universally loved bloke than David Mundy?
No, 19 years, mate. He's just done it all. He's in all the memes that are going around. It's just become a thing across the AFL, and he's been a champion of the game as well. It's been incredible.
And even after those 19 years, in his 31st Western Derby, he's still in the argument for votes for the Ross Glendenning Ben Allen medal.
Yeah.
And I think that just says everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So back to Shaun not giving him any votes. So what was that about? So you brought up a point where the person that Shaun voted for had less possessions than Mundy. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Less
had the
clearances,
same possessions, less clearances.
Okay.
But look,
Yeah.
Caleb Strong played
Yeah.
a super game too, and when the game was on, Caleb Strong showed the fight that Fremantle fans are going to love for a lot of years, I think.
Yeah, right. I was just wondering if even when having the opportunity to pick a winner, Shaun still can't pick the winner.
Yeah, well,
I was just a bit
tell
confused.
you what, the tab count took an absolute hiding on the weekend.
Hey, when we just quickly talk about the biggest football news that is going around, Steve, and I cannot believe that you have not brought it to the table, but it's about a McManus. McManus has done something amazing in the football world that I think everyone in Australia is talking about. Do you know anything about this, Steve?
No idea.
Shaun?
My daughter Sunny won the goal kicking for her team at East Fremantle Power yesterday for the year. They wrapped up their year. She was the leading goal kicker.
Leading goal kicker of the whole year.
The whole year.
Yeah,
Katie.
maybe.
Have you been showing her those videos of when you got hit by David Wirapunda and how beautifully straight you went back and banged it through?
Yeah, I said the key to this is getting hit by someone else and also closing your eyes when you kick.
No, so what Shaun does is Shaun shows her all of his old games and then Sonny goes, great, Dad, I'm going to do the opposite. And she's reaping the benefits. Hey, Steve.
That's a cult hero you're talking about, Nathan.
Hey, Steve, after 8 o'clock, we're speaking to a guy named Henry, right? He's over in the UK. We did the chat on Friday. It's absolutely amazing. He's got a condition where he can taste, smell, or have a feeling associated with people's names, which is, don't want to miss it. It's going to be around 8:20. We got him to do your name, Steve.
Mm.
So Steve, to him, tastes like burnt toast.
That's nearly the nicest thing anyone's said to me this week.
So all the Steves out there,
Yeah.
to Henry, your name tastes like burnt toast.
Yep.
There you go.
I get a very nasty instant taste and smell when I hear your name, but can I just also mention the Basketball WA Awards were on the weekend, and two very special friends of mine were inducted into the Basketball WA Hall of Fame, and they're reasonably well known.
Go.
One is from the Australian Boomers, Mark Worthington,
Yes.
whose uncle Kevin was a very good footballer for Collingwood and East Perth, and Mark is just a brilliant bloke and well deserved. And also Melissa Marsh, the sister of Shaun and Mitch, was inducted for her 643 million games that she plays both in the SPL and in the women's NBL. Both absolute superstar basketballers and even better people, so well done.
Congratulations to all those guys. Well done. Awesome stuff.
All right, thanks,
Good
Steve.
on you, Steve.
I'm going to burn the toast.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Well, the AFL season is absolutely hotting up with one game to go. It is full on for the Dockers, who need a couple of results to go their way this weekend to finish in the top four. They need to win their game.
Yep.
And then they need either Collingwood to get beaten by Carlton or Sydney to lose their game to St Kilda as well.
Well, I don't know anything about this. Is that likely?
It's a really good chance, actually.
Sydney won't lose.
No, you would expect Sydney to win.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, then it comes down to the second last game of the weekend, and it's Carlton versus Collingwood, and they hate each other, very passionate, like Freo, West Coast. But Collingwood lost a couple of players over the weekend, and it will be difficult for them
Were
to be
these
replaced.
people hit by cars driven by eagles? Now's the time. I mean, if you really wanted to get Tonya Harding about it.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
start putting sleepers into people's lives and then like targeting key players on other teams.
Or when they're coming, they go to their local haunt for a meal or something.
Yeah,
food
but the
poisoning.
Drano.
Yes.
Or food poisoning. Don't have to kill them.
You just went really dark.
Sorry, Shaun. Straight away, I always go to murder. But yeah, so this is now the time to really get into their lives and.
Oh, no doubt about it.
You know?
It means so much at this point of year. The game on Saturday night just finished before the Eagles and Fremantle's game, and it was between Carlton and Melbourne, and it went down to the last 12 seconds where Melbourne scored. If they hadn't have scored to win that game, because they were done for all dinner, Fremantle would now be in the top four.
Oh, no.
Cozzy picked it up with the one hand and miraculously snapped this ball through the goal.
So-
So it was incredible.
Who's
footy.
one of the people for that we could target for Fremantle's next win? Give me a star.
Okay, let's see. Who would it be? Would it be? It'd probably be Scott Pendlebury from Collingwood. Take him out of the Collingwood
Okay.
lineup, and I think Carlton win that game.
We work out where his favourite coffee shop is, and straight away, because we've been speaking about this right now, he might be he might have a taste tester with him.
Okay.
But I bet he doesn't have anyone to look up and see if there's a piano on a rope on top of a building. Because, like falling pianos, it happens.
It happens.
And
I'll
that
say
would
that.
lot.
hurt. Yeah. That would hurt
Well,
your
yeah, it'll
heaps.
probably kill you.
Yeah. I know, but again, we don't want to go to Meta, Nathan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
sorry. How about just an organ?
Yeah.
like an organ from a high thingo will at least give you concussion.
Yeah. You just have to see the physio to get that neck crinked out. That's all.
It's just a Yamaha.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing in the AFL at the moment is it was released over on the East Coast is the Rich 100, and it was staggering, I think, for most people to realise that the West Coast Eagles are playing 7 players in their team nearly 50% of their salary cap. And this is what, it's really interesting because people always talk about every player that's on a list, everyone naturally thinks that they're getting paid an absolute mint, but it turns out that there's a top echelon of guys, a small percentage are getting paid all the money, and everyone else is just getting paid a minimum wage just to be able to get by.
Okay, so before we get into the big money, what is a normal run-of-the-mill player that you know their name? How much are they getting paid around?
I think the percentages say just over 100 and something grand.
Wow.
So, Barras, is that how you say it? Barras?
Tom Barras, yeah.
He's
Barras.
Barras.
Yep.
He's had the best, year out of the Eagles, so
Yep.
this year, and he would be on maybe just over 100, you reckon?
No, he'd be on a fair bit more,
So
Katie,
he'd
but
be-
he might be in the middle part
Yeah,
going
okay.
to the higher
So
end.
around threes?
He could be on about 300 grand mark for sure, and
Okay.
he's certainly their best player. But obviously there'd be incentives built into your contract, but as a base pay, the top dogs sign a 5-year deal, and it doesn't matter how they're playing in the future.
Have you seen these pay packets yet?
I know Govs, which is just insane.
Jeremy McGovern is a friend of the show and now also a close personal friend. Is this right? $1.1 million?
Yes, Nathan, because so what they're saying is that he signed like a 5-year deal and it averages out to be around that amount. They're guessing that this year he was on about that kind of amount of money, but he could have taken a pay cut to be able to allow a few other people to fit into the salary cap.
Can I say something, right? So some people might turn around, and talk about the obscene amount of money paid to some players, but I really think he deserves every dollar of that. He's such a good guy, but yet very surprising to me, Shaun, because even though Gov is such a great player and is very special to the team,
Yep.
brand-wise, automatically I would have assumed that Nick Natanui would be on the most on the Eagles.
Well, he has the biggest impact in the game, not Nick.
Yeah.
Governor's had the biggest impact
Yeah,
in the
but
game.
I'm going off brand. It's
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like not about game because I don't know game. I'm talking about brand, like who they push out the most. And Nick Natanui flies that flag for that club.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
hear his name more.
The
He's got
most.
the famous hair.
And it says on the
the-
paper 700,000.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. But Nick would also be getting a lot of money in the promotional side of things, Nate. So you say, as you said, you see him doing all this outside stuff. The club would make him do that, and therefore he would get more funds from the outside. Jeremy McGovern was the highest paid player because the Fremantle Dockers were going hard at him, so he was able to sign a long-term
Good on
contract worth
him.
$1 million. He is one of the highest paid players in the AFL, and he has a massive effect on games when he's up and about. This year's been not his greatest year, but he has had a massive effect. The thing is, though, they've got 7 players who are all at the pointy end of their careers, and next year you don't know what kind of impact these guys are going to have, and they're taking up almost half of the money that goes to the team. 35 to 36 other players have got the rest of the half to spend. 6 to 7 have got
You'd be filthy.
the other half.
So Luke Shuey 800,000, Jack Darling 800,000, Andrew Gaff 900,000, Tim Kelly 900,000, Elliot Yeo 850,000. But you know what though? It's not all about money. Sometimes you can go to the shops and you can pick up something that's cheap and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do.
Well,
we
I
need to
think-
get, and Dad's usually good at that. We need to get Dad in there to go shopping for the Eagles.
Well, that's what they do at the draft and the combine. They do. He certainly get some absolute diamonds in the rough for sure.
And
But,
then if Dad wants to, and then what Dad will usually do if he doesn't really know if he wants it or not, he'll hide it behind a clothes rack, and then he'll go and pick it up later on.
But it's interesting if you get a chance to have a look at the top 100. It's very good viewing.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.